In a story that's going to surprise no one, and least of all me, Buzzfeed News is shutting down. It's a little more complicated than that, though. So, here we go. As a news organization, Buzzfeed was never particularly good at that, endeavor. They had lots of problems getting things right, which include the Steele dossier and some other issues that popped up along the way, reporting on a lot of false narratives as if they were fact. Essentially just reading off of talking points papers, and to a certain extent, a lot of news organizations are guilty of doing that recently. But BuzzFeed became less and less interesting to the public at large, and even their little games and other elements to their site became, just commonplace. Digital media is in the process of dying, at least dying back, probably would be a better way to describe it. And so the news division, BuzzFeed News, is shutting down. They're laying off 180 staffers. Pretty much everybody is gone. And they have to shut it down because it's unable to turn a profit. A company that needs to turn a profit. This came straight from a memo from the CEO, Jonah Peretti, that came out today. Well, I guess you'll be watching this on Friday. It came out on Thursday. And the digital publisher is just getting rid of everybody. It's 15% of the employees, and that, of course, is all of BuzzFeed News. They have a lot of other people that will be leaving, as well as the company is starting to wind down into what it'll eventually become, which is going to be an AI-driven entertainment site, nothing more. And you're seeing that just happen to so many different digital entities right now that this really wasn't all that surprising. And I think myself and many other people were calling this, for many months now. I've been reporting on BuzzFeed for a year and a half, talking about its inevitable end, and they're getting to it even before I predicted, which is, this is about 5 or 6 months early. The original BuzzFeed News launched in 2011, so it's been around for a few years now. The editor-in-chief at the time, did their level best to try to present the news, but of course that devolved. As an entity, BuzzFeed is a larger group of companies that have been acquired over the years. People don't realize that you have BuzzFeed, of course, itself, Complex, HuffPost, Tasty, and First We Feast. Those are all underneath the BuzzFeed brand. And while the entity itself is shutting down, you will still have access to their previous articles. For how long, we don't know, but their work will be preserved for a certain period of time. It just hasn't been determined yet. What's also weird about all of this is that it's hitting the company in a broader way, as I mentioned before, but not just for the regular day-to-day employees. No, it's taking out 2 executives, key executives, at the company itself. The chief revenue officer, Edgar Hernandez, will be gone, and the COO, Christian Basler, I hope I'm getting that name right, are also leaving the company. BuzzFeed president Marcella Martin will assume the responsibility for all of the revenue functions effective immediately, meaning that, we have too many executives to pay. Let's get rid of some more. And of course, along with all this news comes some details about the finances behind the thing. And it comes in the form of an SEC filing that they're required to divulge. That means that BuzzFeed will incur about $7 to $11 million in charges that are related to these layoffs and the shutdown of BuzzFeed News. It's going to be not cheap, but not overly expensive to just write a bunch of checks. On screen right now is a chart of all of the recent major layoffs that have happened in media and tech, at least over the course of the last few months. Let's take a look. BuzzFeed losing 15% of its staff, the entire news division, and a couple of executives. Lionsgate laid off about 3% of their staff this month as well. In March, Roku laid off 200 people, and before that, Electronic Arts dumped 800 jobs. Warner Music Group got rid of about 270 people, and NPR had to cut back 10%. Yeah, state-sponsored media isn't very profitable, is it? The CW, of course, doesn't count because they were just acquired by somebody else. You have Amazon laying off 9 in March. Meta laid off 10,000 in March. You had Sirius XM laying off 475 in March. You had CNET laying off 50% of their staff in March. That's a lot. Showtime got rid of 120 people in February. News Corp laid off 1,250 in February. Yahoo laid off about 20% of their staff in February, and it goes on and on. Of course, Disney in February of 23 laid off 7,000, to be followed by, it looks like, 7,000 more in the next few days. And it goes on and on. The list is quite long when it comes to this year's layoffs. There's many over the course of the last 6 months. So unsurprising when non-profitable business elements are cut down or have their staff reduced. It just is a matter of course in business. And I feel for everybody who lost their job for the most part, although some executive level folks they're going to be absolutely fine. But it's the day-to-day employees, I think, that lose the most. And of course, this is just one of the many companies that is going to suffer this kind of staff reduction in the new digital media area because ad tech has fallen completely off. There's really not a whole lot of that, and that's why you're seeing more and more videos and more streams on YouTube and other platforms like Rumble and, well, even Twitter start to, lean into ad tech and produce more content. A lot of streamers are doing more live streaming and more videos because the ad tech just isn't there to support it. So that's what's happening in the background, and it's going to continue to happen as we head into a pretty decent recession, as of course the federal government's already told you. And with that, I'm just going to end right here and say be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Today, be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.